Hi! So Collision was last night. This shit is late. I have done nothing but sleep all day. I don't know why, but irrelevant. Collision was last night. Sorry about the delay, but solid card, and we'll get into it, but there was the storm that affected it, so a lot of stuff had to be, not changed, but, makes little sense, but we'll talk about that individually, so let's get into it. So, the show actually opened up with Shibata versus Hangman. Now, I was just happy with that because I just like seeing Shibata. I'm a big Hangman guy, but I'm a big Shibata guy. And the match, it continues how Shibata was against when Joe had Speedball, where he obviously does the I don't know if it's a suplex or what, but where he lifts him up and smacks him like the 3-peat. That was sick. Shibata's a bit more vicious. He's obviously a dick. There's no ops interference, which was great. Hangman looks solid here too, but I think Shibata, it's kind of more of a Shibata. This match really, the instant thoughts that come into my mind where it's just reliable and in the most complimentary way. Like I said, you had the storm and everything that was affected. So with Shibata and Hangman being able to come in and just put on such a reliable match again, you know what you're gonna get out of Shibata versus Hangman in the sense of the styles, and both wrestlers complement each other very well. And last time they faced, I think I covered it, I forget what Dynamite or Collision it was. It was not underwhelming, but more, I expect Shibata and Hangman to be very hard. I think you could do a hard-hitting true war of a match between Shibata and Hangman, and I haven't seen that yet. And I think this could have been it. And it's not, but there was not a problem with it. Shibata being a dick, the drop kicks, everything about Shibata does has that extra venom in it. Shibata being a heel is just the best thing to be in terms of in-ring. It just carries a bit more weight. It does a tiny bit more to his presentation. But with Hangman's in a weird predicament because he's not aggressive heel Hangman where he's crazed. But he's happy now. He's got the trios belt. It's weird. It's a weird in-between with Hangman, but he balances it well. Yeah, it's Hangman. I've noticed this recently. I don't know if Hangman's becoming like the Bucks, where if it's a traditional TV match like this, where it becomes it's another Hangman match, like it's another Bucks match, and that's not because I'm not a Hangman fan. I'm a huge Hangman fan, so I feel like he does have a lot of the same spots, which is fine. Again, not a complaint, but that's what I kind of mean by the word reliable. I feel like this match was super reliable, super good, delivered on every sense. So there's not a problem with that. I enjoyed this match quite a lot. Hangman gets the win via the buckshot. Shock. I thought you should have given the win to Shibata. I thought that would have been a lot more interesting. I feel like you could have had a lot more mileage out of that, but they didn't. So, not a problem. Honestly, biggest takeaway here is I really hope they give Shibata another singles match. And just, Shibata's a great guy to have on Collision because the guy's an all-timer. And the guy's legacy. And, I always think we don't take Shibata, I think we take Shibata for granted a bit sometimes because, the situation that he, caused himself, and, the guy come back, shit like that. And I just feel like we could just take advantage of Shibata, in terms of, we could use him a bit more in a bit different way. Not that I dislike how he is with the ops, but you get my point. Good match, super solid match, super reliable, and that's the most complimentary thing I could probably give two of my favourite wrestlers on the roster. So next we had a weird promo, which was Don Callis and Ricochet playing golf. I don't get it. They're just on the golf course, and I couldn't really say what was said. It was just more like, oh yeah, we both hate, Kenny Omega and people like this. So I feel like it was just favoring their relationship and teaming up work. I love that whole thing. Don Callis obviously is an elitist, ironically, and Ricochet is just trying to blend in, and I love that. It's fun. You know what I mean? I love when they do promos that are kind of, out of the way, seeing these people in their normal lives. So that always got me a little chuckle. Then after that, we got Statlander versus Isla Dawn in a in a title eliminator match. Sorry, not number one contender. That's the next match. With Stat and Isla Dawn, it was not a squash, but I'd say a showcase. I feel like that's an elevation of a squash. And I kind of like that. I think that's what Isla Dawn's kind of been since she's joined AEW. I think she's been great. I think it's good showcase of Stat, good showcase of Isla. I feel like you could get a bit more mileage out of Isla Dawn too. I feel like, I don't think Isla Dawn's the greatest wrestler in the world, no. But I feel like she's good, you know what I mean? She's a good wrestler, and, you signed her. And the women division for me needs a bit of depth, so I feel like that could also, help that. But she come out with GYV, which is something they've established for a few weeks now, so hooray. Could get something with them and NXM maybe. We won't, but we could. But I don't know. The match was fine. The match was just Statlander. She hits the Saturday night and stuff. Stuff like that. You know what I mean? It was basic, not a squash, but a showcase match, and that's fine. I enjoyed it. Isla Dawn sells like a pro. She got some licks in there, but nothing insane. The main thing is after the match, where it's Tekla on the the Tron, whatever, and she's backstage. She's wearing a Statlander shirt, and she's like, "Woo, Stat Daddy, great! I'm a big fan." And then she's just promoting the match, essentially going, "Oh, Stat, I hope you're a bigger fan as me." I don't even know what she said. It was kind of weird. And she takes the shirts off in the end and spits on the shirt and basically challenges her, saying, toxic. She calls her toxic, which I know we all are thinking the same thing. But, and then Statlander goes, "Oh, she's going to show me." And that was kind of it. I feel like I like Tekla as a promo. I like Tekla all in general. I just don't feel like, I feel like Tekla could have come in the ring or jumped. I feel like you could build to that, and then, could have obviously built to the transition to Julia versus Willow, which is later on tonight. So I feel like that could have been an opportunity. I don't feel like it was mishandled. I just feel like it was something that because I remember when they done that for the Death Riders. I forget what match it was. I'm sure it was Death Riders and someone else a while ago, and they transitioned one match into the other, and that was great. I love when wrestling does that in general, not just AEW. So I think they could have done that, and I like Tekla as a promo. I feel like she could have been better in the crowd, on the mic, but we don't get that often. But not bad. I'm excited for the match anyway, so I'm not gonna sit here and be like, "Oh shit, it wasn't. It was great. I love Tekla. I love Stat. I just can't wait for the match now." I'm just like, come on. That's what I'm kind of like with it. So, after this, we got Jack Perry backstage, where obviously he's got the matchup coming with Ricochet. We don't have a date yet for that, I don't think. And that's for the national belt. And Perry and Ricochet is going on about the rivalry, and he goes, "Ricochet and the GOA, the demand, I'm going to take that belt from you because you've taken everything from me." And essentially what that meant was, and he goes on about how much they took Luchasaurus away because they injured Luchasaurus, and he basically goes on, that guy fought for his life, which he did with the pneumonia, which was nuts, by the way. And I think he just talked about, how much Luchasaurus fought for those two to be together again and for them to take him out. But right, he's got the knife the entire promo, which I love how he has that, has a little thing now, because it looks cool. And then he goes, "Ricochet, I'm gonna take everything from you," and then just stabs the knife on the wood on the table. That was sick. I like Jack Perry. I've made this very clear. I'm a big fan. I'm kind of glad that, we're past the, "Oh, he stinks," when he doesn't. He's great. So that was good. After that, we actually got a small update, which I really appreciated. I thought this was the right thing to do. Like I said at the start, there was the obvious issue with the Storm, which I hope everyone, who's involved and safe, whatever. But with the Storm, they talked about, because there's a tag match tonight between Protashita and Austin and Billy Gunn. Now, as a big AEW fan for a while now, a few years, it's like, why is Billy Gunn teaming with Austin Gunn? It's so out of nowhere, which is a common complaint for a lot of people with AEW. They sat there, they said, look, they showed a little promo, like, "Oh, this was the other night on Ring of Honor. Ace Austin's looking great," which, yes, we all love Ace Austin. And everyone's like, why is Ace Austin not teaming? And he basically said, because of the Storm, Ace Austin could not travel, so Austin Gunn had to team. And then they didn't say what the reason was, but with situations like this, where it's certainly like a weather thing, what can you expect them to do? You know what I mean? Normally I'd be one of those people, when it first announced, genuinely, I will say this, when it was first announced, I was going to make a video saying, why the hell is Austin and Billy teaming up? They rivaled, they feud not long ago, stuff like that, just because of the situation. And they were completely transparent about saying, look, Ace Austin was supposed to travel, he was supposed to team with Austin, blah, blah, blah. I thought that was great. I thought that was the right way to go, and I really appreciated that. I feel like that's something, if I'm honest, I feel like if that was another company, specifically WWE, I feel like they would have done a shitty injury angle. They wouldn't have just said it how it is. And I think you got to treat the audience, especially with AEW, where it's a bit more older, a bit more respect. I thought that was excellently handled. But yes, I was very excited for the match, as you expect. But we did get Protashita, which, yes, versus Austin and Billy Gunn. Jesus Christ, this is probably the match of the night, and it wasn't even an insane match. It was just great. I love how Austin Gunn is a hot tag in this match. I think that was great. I think they could have easily done that to Billy, but they made it Austin. I thought that was cool. Fletcher, it takes most of it between the two, but Takeshita, when he gets in, is just insane. The main thing is Takeshita does an elbow to Billy Gunn, and oh my god, it's so loud. It sends Billy out the ring. It was nuts. Austin looks snappy. Billy looked great. Billy Gunn looked great, which I didn't expect. Billy Gunn looked great. No acclaim stuff, but he looked great. They presented him. The crowd was all loving Billy. Stuff like that. I loved that. And it was just very... it felt like very... It was definitely thrown together, but it definitely done the job. And with Billy Gunn in this... Billy Gunn's the main thing here. It's like... They couldn't have the match, like, ridiculous pace. When it was Austin, it did have a bit more pace to it, and which was definitely, obviously, the goal. Billy Gunn's, 63? So, you know what I mean? But I think Billy Gunn, for his age, looked great. I feel like the stature of the guy is so big. He's so big. And that's coming from, Takeshita's deceivingly big, and so is Fletcher, realistically. And he just matches up to them, if not towers them. It's nuts. The finish was great. Takeshita and the Pro Tashita, Takeshita and Fletcher, team phenomenally. The two of the best wrestlers in the world, no debate. So I just think, personally, the way they gelled, obviously I've seen them tag before, and I just love the dynamic, everything about it. There's a kick towards the end, where Austin has a bit of a moment, but Austin takes a lot of damage. And it's Takeshita's going for the Raging Fire. And then he misses it. But then Fletcher just comes out of nowhere and just zooms in, gets a kick. It's ridiculously good. Just sums up how snappy and excellent Kyle Fletcher is. They get the win. Expected. Don comes into the ring, and they do, have a bit of tension with Takeshita. So Takeshita, Don shakes, obviously, Kyle's hand, because they're cool. And then he goes up to Takeshita, puts his hands out, and Takeshita's like, puts his hand out, but he's visibly unnerved. He doesn't like Don. It has to happen soon. But the cool thing was, Okada comes out and just stands at the ring, and everyone's like, oh! And then Takeshita loses it, he's getting held back by by Fletcher and Don Callis, going, calm down, Take. Calm them down, pointing at... And Okada's just he's such a piece of shit, and I love him. He's got the belt, and he's just going, laughing, smiling. I think he, points at him. Oh, it's phenomenal. And, I think with Takeshita losing his rag, 100% the right way to go. Obviously, you all know how much I love that feud. But with Fletcher, I feel like Fletcher could have lost his rag too. I feel like that could have been really cool, because obviously them two, he's not happy with Okada either, so that could have been a bit more tension with Don Callis' family. But overall, love that Okada's back. He's stirring the pot. It's happening already. We're getting more Takeshita versus Okada and Fletcher versus Okada, probably. Don Callis the Don Callis family's going to implode. It is incredible. I really enjoyed that. I didn't expect Okada to be here. I really didn't. So I thought, this is the shit that I like about Collision. Shit like this, where it's it's not a match, but Okada coming back, that's something I like for Collision. I think that's really cool. Thought that was excellent. Really loved that match. Really loved how they handled it. Everything about it. This was great. This is the best bit of the night, for me personally. I thought it was really good. So, after this, we got Ricochet and the GOA backstage. Ricochet just going, oh, Jack, we apologize. We had no idea. And then, just being like, I'm going to kick your ass for the national belt. Basic promo. It sounds daft. When I was watching it, bear in mind, I've been, in and out of, just consciousness all day. I don't know why. I was ridiculously tired. Still now I'm tired. How? And I just look at Toa and I go, yeah, push him to the fucking moon. We have to. Toa Leone is the shit. But, yes, basic promo. Really enjoyed it. Yes, but after this, we got something I was baffled at, to say the least. We got a GYV and Eddie Kingston, hype package promo thing. What the hell are we doing? Why is this not left in the lurch? Basically, GYV going, we come to take to the tag team division. And the tag team division, against Eddie and Ortiz, that lapdog. And all that, and going, basically, because they used the weapon, which, whatever. And then Eddie's like, hey, what you want, dog? So dumb. No Ortiz is here, by the way. And they're just going, hey, let me hear you, eh? They ain't professional wrestling, dog. And then they go, if you want to bring weapons, we can bring weapons, whatever. I don't want this to continue. Eddie Kingston's return is, I'll just say it flat out, is being handled horribly. And I'll make a separate video. It has been horrible. So, as much as I don't dislike GYV, I do in terms of Zach Gibson's promos. I think they suck. But in terms of, as an actual tag team in ring, they're actually decent. And, stuff like that. So, I just don't get why. I just don't get it. I'll make an Eddie video again, because I like Eddie, and I don't like this. So next, we have Davis and Doyle versus Oliver and Price, the new signings. So Oliver and Price, again, were phenomenal on Dynamite. I was really impressed. So this match, the way they've presented Davis and Doyle is just nuts. They're like two Tasmanian devils, and it's perfect. I love how they've been presented. They're monsters, true monsters. And the problem they kind of created for themselves was Davis and Doyle have been presented so well. It's similar to what they did for Megan Bayne, I think, and it sounds wild, where they need to win the titles, but they can't win the titles out against FTR, so it's just such a weird situation. It's exciting, but it's so weird. I love Jordan Oliver and Alec Price. I love them. I think they're really good. I think there's this like moment where like they're trying to tag, so they're getting just decimated each. Obviously, they're so quick, they're so good, really so good. Get these guys truly integrated in the tag division. That has to happen. And they scream out Jordan, Alec, and stuff like that. I love that. It's small, but I felt like that was trying to have a bit more character, personality, and I thought that was excellent. The match, again, it's just Jake Doyle, Jake something. They've changed Mark Davis, but this is... I have never seen Jake something before this. If this is how he is, Jesus Christ. I love this. I love how they're presented. I truly do. The match was basically... It was another showcase match, essentially, for both talent, but I think this match was great. I really do. Obviously, Davis and Doyle get the win. They both get the basic finish themselves. I don't know if it wasn't a pin. It was like they both got a submission. It was nuts. And then Don Callis comes into the ring, and he goes, I have something to say to FTR. Shit like that, and then starts going off on them saying, Davis and Doyle. And he's dropped the psychopath shit, because when he first got Davis and Doyle, he starts slapping them and goes, let's go kill somebody. It was nuts. And I wanted him to continue that. He didn't. He just calmed down. I thought that shit was the funniest. So after this, he's obviously talking about FTR on the promo. And then it cuts to Stokely on the FTR. Stokely's in the wheelchair, smug as fuck. I love this shit. And Stokely's going, Davis and Doyle, basic promo. You look good, but you are not FTR. You are not as good as FTR. Blah blah blah. And they're setting up the Dax and Cash don't speak. They're setting up the match again. It's similar to the Tekla one where it felt like they needed to do it, rather than they said anything interesting. And not like it wasn't interesting per se, but I'm hyped already. I don't need more. And it's just, this match just created and just solidified how good Davis and Doyle's presentation is. It's stellar. Again, two just at the cavemen, Tasmanian devil, feral humans. They just scream and start slapping each other. It's fucking nuts. Oh, I love it. I love these two. Seriously. It's such a weird situation they've put them into, but I ain't complaining. It's the shit. So after this, this was fucking stupid. Darby's in his truck, and he's just driving. He goes, do you think that it shows the snap that Pac did to him to the steel steps? Nuts, by the way. And that's basically injured. Darby goes, I need to go back and, get back to my roots, whatever. I need to go see an old friend. He's with Bam from fucking Jackass. What the fuck? Like, what are we doing? And then they're just skateboarding, they're just hanging out, and Bam's just laughing at his spot on the phone, and that's it. Like, it felt like it was going to be a bit longer of a segment. They were going to talk about something specific. It's just to basically go, Darby's friends with Bam from Jackass. Darby's going to be in the new Jackass movie, I swear to God. That's like the biggest lock ever. And if it's not, that's insane. We have Machine Gun Kelly in one, but not Darby. It was weird. I remember after it finished, that's why I went, that was it? So, weird, but I think it's just to basically AEW to go, hey, look, we like celebrities. It's just stupid, but, I mean, Darby's Darby, right? Like, Darby just does whatever, and it's just kind of like, oh yeah, that's Darby. So, but Bam was just, he's going to be in the new Jackass film. I can just feel it. I don't think, it's just dumb. So after this, we actually got Willow versus Julia Hart for the TBS belt. Julia Hart, I've said it, I'm not really the biggest fan. Julia Hart looked better than I've seen her in a while during this. Still some things that I didn't love. I don't think she's the most, she doesn't sell a lot. I'll say that. She's not a great seller for me. And I just think, the presentation, she puts all her weight into she's trying to do the Rio, where Rio puts everything in it and moves because she's so small and petite. But then, not that Julia's petite, but she's thin, you know what I mean? I don't know, she's not small. And it just doesn't feel, you can't feel no weight against it. It's weird. but she's going throughout the match. This is my belt. This is my belt. Like, whatever. Looked a bit more vicious than usual, which I don't know if that was always... I just never saw that with Julia. Willow obviously having the much more weight advantage. Willow took a lot of damage, which I think that's what I didn't love, because like what Julia was doing didn't look effective, but apparently it was, so it was weird. Sky Blue tries to get involved. Harley comes out and takes her out, so like we expected. And then, yeah, basically Willow gets the win. This match kind of bored me. I can't lie, it did. Nothing against the two ladies. I feel like this is one circumstance to how tired I was today. I fell asleep during this match, but went back and rewatched it. I just didn't get involved. I didn't. It's Willow. I like Willow a lot, and I feel like Willow took more of a backseat compared to Julia Hart. Yeah, and I think Julia Hart looked good. Like, for what my expectations were and are of Julia Hart in this match, she looked good, and I will say my opinion has improved. But I just don't think she's the greatest in ring. I feel like, honestly, this was more reason for me to go split the Triangle of Madness up. To split them up. Like, no, Tekla's better on her own. Sky probably will be better on her own. And Julia from this is better on her own. So, that was it. Yeah, kind of basic. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. It was just kind of mid, to quote MJF. Mid. Not bad, but I just, personally, it was mid for me. After this, we actually got the Rascals backstage, following all the shit that happened the other week. They're all stoned, and they basically have calling out, obviously it's something that happened with the crew, where the crew called them out, Leo Rush and Andretti, and they said, okay, we got the match with the crew, we need to decide who's fighting, and then they basically tried to do rock, paper, scissors. Went on way too long. I forget that. I guess that was the joke, but I didn't love it. And they were all going like that. And then, like, they just basically decided to tag, and that was it. Okay. The Rascals are going to be entertaining, and they are already. It's just get them. Let's get them in ring. I feel like that should have been a match this week. I would have rather had. I think that match should have been this week. Yeah, I'll speak of that at the end. But yeah, this should have been this week. But I like the stoner gimmick. I think that's funny. After this, we actually got a vignette where Alex Windsor comes down and sits down, and she goes, "Hey, look, we don't have a lot of history. Why don't we make some? You know, you're a past world champion. That you want more gold?" And I'm thinking, Thunder Rosa. And then it's Jamie Hayter. Yes, love it all. And Jamie's like, well, why don't we get some new gear? Like, oh my god, yes, I love Jamie Hayter. I think Alex Windsor's phenomenal. Yes. Should have been the tag. As much as I love Alex Windsor and Rio, I hope that doesn't go away. I love that. I love this idea. All Jamie Hayter needs is a bit of gold. And it should be singles, really. I feel like, again, mishandled. But with Windsor, every time she comes in, she does spark interest. I think that's a big trait you've got to commend her for. And in ring, she's fun. I think Windsor's truly a star. And she's not consistently on TV, and I don't know what the deal is with that. But she's great. She's really good, so all for that. This was excellent. Fun vignette. And I was guessing, going, Thunder Rosa? I thought they were going to build this up for a few weeks to go, like, I didn't expect them to reveal Jamie there and then. I thought that was kind of cool. But yes, that was cool. So, after this, we got Andrade versus Magnus from CMLL. You know, I love when we get to see CMLL talent on AEW, so I was happy for this, and I love Andrade in ring. Andrade's so fucking good, bro. So good. And this is the most characteristic he's been. So cocky, so arrogant. He just wrestles in the shit. This was funny as hell. It's probably the main thing about the match. In the match, he comes out, he wears the shirt, and then and everyone's telling him, take their shirt off. So he takes the shirt off, and then everyone takes the piss, go and take the pants off. And he goes, what? And then takes them off. Because he had wrestling trunks underneath. He's like, what the hell? Then starts stripping his gloves, and everyone's going, whoa! It's fucking nuts. Magnus didn't really have a chance to showcase what he did. He looked good, but not really much. I like the mask. I think the mask was cool. Just let me see more CMLL. I need to ask about more CMLL, but I love it. Andrade looked great. Great. Again, more charismatic. Like, he goes up to a girl, and she's like, he just starts, like, taking people's hats and going, like, wearing the hats. And then he goes up to this girl and gets a selfie with the girl, and then starts pretending to put his number in the phone. And the girl's made up. It's like she sells it. It's fucking great. I love Andrade. He's really coming into his moment. Like, he's getting sheared. And it's like, and then he's obviously doing in the ring, he's doing the pull-ups on the pins. You know, he does a lot of stuff. The DM, that obviously gets him to finish again. But there's like, it's more arrogance. It's really arrogance, and I love it. He's showboating a lot. He does a lot of the Eddie shoulders, obviously, as you expect from a Mexican wrestler nowadays. And even like, there's this point, I forget what he gets cheered for, but he gets booed for somebody. He goes, "That's what I want. That's what I want." I'm like, yeah, all for it. Andrade's really coming into his own. Really coming into his own. The match was fun. The match was solid. A lot of good spots. Again, I wish we could have got a bit more solid time with Magnus. I don't think we did, but that could just be me, like, I want to see all the CMLL luchadors without actually watching CMLL yet. But all for it. And Andrade's just, yeah, all for it. He should have cut a promo after this in the ring, but he never. And he after the break, he come back and he was backstage cutting a promo. And he just straight up goes, "Swerve, you know, Don Callis brought me in to get, because he knows I can win the world title. You're in my way." So, and they're getting a match against Swerve and fucking Andrade next week. Jesus Christ. Oh my God. I love this shit. I love this. The game I love. So yeah, all for it. Everything with Andrade this week. Excellent. So good. So happy he's back. Really good. So after this is our main event, which is, again, more CMLL. We got the CMLL World Heavyweight Championship between Claudio and Roddy. Another reliable match between two guys who have got great history and legacy with each other. And they do they do apply the CMLL rules, which I loved. They have, obviously, you know, the 20 out tag count. They do the presentation because I forget the guy's name who runs CMLL, where you can be there, so it's Tony. That was sick. And the match was great. Roddy and Claudio being so aggressive with each other. Mox is on commentary. Another rule is they have talent outside with towels, so in case, you know, something happens. It's Cassidy for Roddy, and then Yuta, surprisingly, for Claudio. And yeah, they obviously, Yuta in the end of the match starts taking advantage. You know, small spots, you know, nothing crazy, but I like this. I like this a lot. The main story of the match is Roddy's knee is getting killed. Or single leg crabs. Constant, like, just target and getting the leg. Jesus Christ. He does hit a few back because he looks like he's legitimately hit that knee. Which I wouldn't be surprised. Like, he's limping even when he's trying to do the spots. Claudio looks like a demon. Roddy doesn't go out, though. I love it. I really like this match. Just simple, straight-up, heavy hitting. And, again, we've seen how many matches between Claudio and Roddy before. I thought this wasn't their best, but it was excellent. Mox on commentary does speak about Kyle, where he goes, "Hey, I got the better end of the stick compared to me," and Kyle's like, I just miss him. As a match, again, it was fine. I feel like I could have had a bit more elevation. One thing that was sick, and this is how just much of a demon Claudio is. Claudio does the giant swing, but with one leg. And it's like, Jesus Christ. Like, he has, like, the leg bent for Roddy and starts doing the giant swing. And it's like, I think that was the finish. It was excellent. And Claudio's just a demon. So's Roddy. Again, just reliability. Similar to Hangman and Shibata. You know what you're going to get. And that's the biggest compliment I could probably give. Phenomenal match. Not like, it wasn't as good as the Andrade match prior, I don't think. I feel like it just kind of, it felt like just a match that kind of, another one in their series, but not like to another nth level, which I think it could have been, and should have been because of the CMLL title. In a way, I kind of agree with hindsight that it should have been on a Mexican card, because elevates it and would have had a different atmosphere, would have made it stood out, but it was all fun. Again, it was just the tale of Roddy's knee just getting destroyed, bro. Just destroyed. Claudio does get the win. I thought they were going to do a spot where Cassidy throws in the towel, and he didn't. And I thought that would have been the interesting way to go, because I think they will turn Roddy heel at some point. So I feel like that could have been it, and then obviously leading to the heel turn. But they didn't. Claudio wins. Shock. And, yeah, basically, again, I don't want to say it was a bland match. It wasn't. It really wasn't. It was just more of a... I think it was on me, this one. I expected a bit more. I did. Again, just Roddy's... It felt like just this continuous, simple, Roddy's knees are getting attacked. And, like, not a problem with that, but I feel like for the CMLL belt, something that I like when they present CMLL, and I like when they kind of honor, like, you know, look at Grand Slam Mexico, one of my favorite events they've ever done, where they basically just highlight everything and, you know, elevate some levels to accommodate that. I don't think they played into the CMLL Heavyweight Championship enough. And the match itself was kind of fine. It felt like a solid Dynamite Collision match. But I feel like for the belt and, you know, how big they were hyping it up, especially with the presentation before it, I feel like they could have added a tiny bit more. But Claudio versus Roddy's never going to disappoint anyone. No one. So I'm not complaining. I just think they should have had a bit more oomph to the presentation of the entire thing. But the match itself in ring, super good. Roddy's knee is probably shot. So yeah, that was Collision. For stuff that was kind of booked on short notice, especially the Ace Austin situation with the Protashita match, I thought it was excellent. I thought it was really good Collision. The big thing for me was the El Clon and Mark Briscoe match was removed. I don't know why. And that's going on Dynamite now. It might be because that's the Storm's so long spread, maybe. But or maybe El Clon or Briscoe wasn't there. Something maybe like that. But that was the only question I had. I thought it was fine. I feel like, again, this was a Collision that had some great moments. And again, the circumstance with the Storm. But I feel like sometimes you have to be like, the promo, look at the Tekla thing, for instance, where I'm like, I'm already hyped for this match. You could have snuck in a small match there, maybe. But who knows? I think Collision was fine this week. Again, it's back on its normal... I don't want to say big complaints. It's back on a good run again. And it had like 1 week where it just kind of dipped. Just felt filler. But this one didn't. It felt kind of good. Yeah, again, the Protashita stuff and the Andrade stuff just steals the show for me. I really loved it. And that's kind of... not bad in a way, because there's a CMLL belt on the line. But you know what I mean? Like, the Andrade stuff was excellent. And obviously, I'm always going to love Protashita. So that was my highlights of the night. You kind of forget Shibata and Hangman was on the card too, but that's because it's the opener. But yes, really enjoyed Collision this week. So yeah, that was Collision this week. What did you think of the show? Apologies for the late upload. And how excited are you for Andrade versus Swerve? Because Jesus Christ, that is nuts.